Alright, greetings, this is a Crunch fan. This will be a double upload today, so this is part 2 of What If Female Deku Was Dark Samus. Now, the main reason I'm doing a double upload is because I probably won't be on from Monday to near the end of Friday, because I'll be focusing on real life stuff at that time. So you guys will have to have this video for like a couple days, but who knows, I might change my mind. Anyway, I had looked at the votes forum whether this should be a hero and a villain, and surprisingly, Heroes won out with a total of 32 votes. And the ships, I saw, were a bit divided for Izumi and Nejire. But Nejire, the one for Nejire, that one out was Nejire and Ryuko, the dragon hero. And for Izumi, that was actually a bit more complicated, because it was a tie between Mirako and Shinso. So I'm just gonna go and get the wheel spin ready, and then we'll see which ship it lands on. So give me a second and I'll get that done. Alright, there we go. I've got the wheel spin ready, and I shall spin it in 3, 2, 1. Who shall I land on? Who knows? And it appears Mirako is the winner. So I'm sorry to all of you who wanted the ship to be Shinso. I do apologize for that. Now we shall get on with the series. So we'll pick up last time where we last left off. Sorry about that, with Izumi teasing Nejire about who she's dating. As Nejire would say that it isn't a guy. As Izumi would say, oh well then who's the lucky lady then? As Nejire would say, it's Ryuko. As Izumi would say, the dragon hero. Nice. Nice, you got a good one for you. I'm happy for you, Nejire. I support you. Go ahead. As Nejire would say, are you dating anybody then? As Izumi would say, would immediately freeze. As red blush would appear around her cheeks, as she would flash back to when she was at a local gym, and the stuff you see on screen is what she wears when she's at the gym and working out. As she would have met as while she was at the gym. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. As while Izumi was at the gym, she had seen that Mirako was there. And Mirako had walked over to her and asked to train with her, as Izumi would have said yes, sure, why not? As they would have trained, and they would have gone some bonding off, and during their training they would have become, well, they became acquaintances after that. And over the next couple months, they had been talking to each other, and they had eventually become good friends. As we then cut back to the present, as Izumi would say, nobody in particular. As Nejire would look at Izumi, as she'd say, I know you're lying. I know you're hiding something, Izumi. As Izumi would then say, oh wow, would you look at the time? I have to go. See ya. As she would then walk out the door. As Nejire would start laughing, as she'd say, "Come on, Izumi, I'm joking." As the next day would come about, as Nejire is waking Izumi up to get her quirk training done, as Izumi would get up and train with Nejire to get her quirk under better control and become stronger. As eventually she would be able to form, because when I said she could form the armor, it was sort of like the final phase, the final Dark Samus fight, where it was sort of like see-through, but now it's sort of like this. It's fully solid. As she would be training with Nejire, as she would end up firing off the arm cannon, which would miss Nejire and land somewhere in the ocean, which would cause a large detonation. As Izumi would then look down at the arm cannon, as she'd think to herself, "Note to self, do not charge this thing all the way up." As she'd then get kicked in the stomach by Nejire. This would go on for a while, as they would have finished their training, as Mirako would have been walking by, as she would have seen Izumi finish her training with Nejire, as Izumi would have basically fallen backwards as the armor would have dissipated and returned into her body, as what she is wearing in this image would come back up. As she would say to Nejire, "That was an exhausting training session." As Nejire would say, "Well, you gotta do that in order to get into UA." As Izumi would say, "Yeah, you're right." As Mirako would shout out from where she's standing, she would shout out, "Hey, what are you doing?" As Izumi would have immediately turned around and then immediately turned red and would have said, "Mirako, what are you doing here?" As Mirako would say, "Please, you don't need to call me by my hero name. You can call me Rumi." I believe that is Mirako's real name. Give me a minute. Yeah, I was right. It was Rumi. Sorry. Sorry about that. As Mirako would say, "I was passing through the area and I saw you to training. So what are you doing?" As Nejire would say, "Oh, I'm just training my younger sister so she can get into UA." At this point, steam is beginning to come off from the top of Izumi's head due to her being so flustered. As Mirako would have looked over to her, as Mirako would say, "Hey, are you alright, Izumi? You seem to be burning up." Hold on, give me a minute. As Mirako is basically right in Izumi's face at this point, as Izumi would then pass out, as Mirako would have been confused by this, as Nejire would say, "Oh yeah, there's a large possibility that my younger sister has a massive crush on you." As Mirako would have immediately turned red and say, "Is that why she was like that?" As Nejire would have said, to be honest, I actually thought you noticed it." As Mirako would have turned red from embarrassment because she realized that she hadn't noticed it. Hold on. not hold on. As Mirako would have realized how dumb she was and immediately would have hit her. No, she wasn't dumb, she was just very dense for not noticing it. As she would have said, "Oh, how could I be so dense?" As Nedry would have said, "Hey, it's not your fault. Just it's not your fault. It's not your fault." And she's like patting Miracle on the back. As Nedry would have said, "Now help me pick her up and take her back to our place." Hold on. Sorry about that. As hold on. Yeah, Nejire and Miracle would have picked Izumi up and then took her back to their Nejire and Izumi's house. As soon as they plopped Izumi down on the couch, Nejire would have gotten a phone call as she would pick it up, as Reiko would be on the other end, as the Reiko would say, ask Nejire if she's still up for the date that they planned that night. As Nejire was about to cancel it to look after Izumi, but Mirako said, "No, I'm off for the rest of the day, so I'll look after her. You go out on your date." As Nejire would have put a thumbs up and just mouthed the words, "You're a lifesaver." As Nedry would have said, yeah, she's still up for the date, and she's just going to get ready. As Nedry would then walk off, get dressed, and then go out for a date. As Miracle would basically be looking down at Izumi's face, as Miracle is basically still red at the fact that she didn't realize that Izumi liked her. As Miracle was basically watching over Izumi the entire time she was passed out, as Izumi would then wake up, as Miracle was basically asleep at this point, as Izumi would have woken up, saw Miracle was asleep, and basically got closer and closer to Miracle to check to see if she was actually sleeping and not faking it. As Miracle was actually asleep, as Izumi would have picked Miracle up, and since their parents are going to be away for a while, Izumi would have put Miracle in their parents' bedroom, as Izumi would then head into her room and then go back to sleep. Go to sleep. As the next day would roll about, and I'll say Nejire stayed the night at Reiko's place, as Mirako would have woken up in the bed in Izumi and Nejire's parents' bed, as Izumi would have been standing by the door, as she would say, "So you're finally awake, Miracle." So I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm saying miracle. I'm saying miracle, but the way my tongue works, it makes things sound different. So Miracle would have gotten up from the bed and said, "Did you put me in this bed?" As Izumi would have said, "Yeah, you were passed out as soon as I woke up, so I decided to take you up to the bed because you looked quite uncomfortable sleeping upright in a chair." As Miracle would have thanked Izumi, and they both would have head downstairs to have breakfast, as Mirako does have her hero costume on her, because she was just carrying it around, as Mirako had the day off that day, so she would have spent it hanging out with Izumi, as Mirako would have said, so about yesterday, your older sister did tell me that you liked me. As Izumi would immediately turn red, as she would say, she would basically be saying in her head, "Nejire, that was supposed to be a secret." As Mirako would have said, to be honest, I actually sort of had this. I sort of had the same type of feelings for you as well. As Izumi would have immediately turned red, as she would say, "What do you mean?" Now I did read a comment in the last part saying that you guys thought that that Dark Samus would have been quite shy, but the shy part of her personality only comes out when she's like flustered and all that. So that's the only time when she's actually shy. Any other time she's very confident in her abilities and everyone else's. As Izumi would basically have been turned red, as Mirako would have gone closer and closer, as she would say, "Just, I might as well give you this, since we already know about each other's feelings." As they're getting closer and closer, and their lips are basically almost touching at this point, as Nejire would burst through the door, as Nejire would say, "I'm home," as Mirako and Izumi would have basically turned around, just like giving her the look of, "You just ruined a beautiful moment, how dare you?" As Nejire would have realized what they were about to do, as Nejire would have said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to ruin it. I'll just leave." As Nejire would then go up to her room, as Mirako would say, "Now, where were we?" As Izumi would have said, "I think we're about here." As Izumi would have grabbed the collar on Mirako's clothes and pulled her in for a kiss. And that is where I'm going to leave this part off. I do hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Ta-ta.